balance sheet will reflect a portion of the amount being invested in liquid assets, investments such as liquid funds by mutual funds or PMS or equity market, bond market, corporate, FDs, etc. If MSME business owners or the people who manage the cash in these enterprises put their surplus reserve in liquid funds, liquid asset investment rather than keeping in, like the capital assets, which most of the MSMEs, business entrepreneurs normally do. So join us today to know and how to take charge of your finances and watch your business grow. So I'm going to introduce all the speakers as we go by, and uh, as usual, that let me start or take you through today's session. We also very thrilled today because small enterprise website. We've been managing the website for the last 11 years. It has become a bit things, and we had a lot of issues in terms of the content, the usability, the ease of navigation, all those things. So we have been working on the website to make it a much more interactive, much more better looking, and more features being added. And most importantly, there's an interesting, section that we have brought it back live again. It's called Ask Guru. So Ask Guru it was a segment that we introduced when we launched Small Enterprise India back in 2010. But then it went offline in between for some time. And later we realized that, a lot of people started inquiring a lot of questions, and we were not being able to get back to them on time because of various reasons. So ever since we had a lot of MSMEs approaching us, asking a lot of questions, and we started becoming a kind of a hub of activity. People approaching us, giving MSMEs a lot of questions, and we were also enjoying it. We were quite happy to help people out at the same time connecting with experts. And today's world, we all believe in collaboration. So we had our experts every conference, every seminar, every roadshow. We have our speakers or experts in each and every subject who've been now joining hands with us for the what you call the Ask Guru section. Now, Ask Guru is a platform where we have created with at present we have about 20 domain experts across India and an average of 20-25 years of experience. So imagine it's about collectively about 500 years of experience waiting to help the MSMEs in India. So these experts are from various domains, whether from finance to technology to logistics, to marketing to HR, project management, legal. So you name it. I mean, they all are here waiting for you, and there's no fee for us. Absolutely free for you. Your questions will be answered in 24 hours. So I'm going to quickly take through to how it looks and what is in store for you and for all you to take your business in the right direction. So hope you can see my screen.
Yes, yes.
So financial management and investment tips for MSMEs. And a big thank you to our partners, Tradilla and Trade India, who is also our outreach partner. Tally, our ERP partner, been part of our events ever since we started. They have shown a lot of interest to work with us, and that's the support Tally is giving to MSMEs. Not just selling Tally. More than that, it's imparting knowledge, helping MSMEs, making their life easy in terms of anything related to finance and their taxation and ERP solutions. So there's one more good news from this webinar onwards. We have Dainik Bhaskar as one of our media partners. So they already started, publishing this webinar article on their portal, and we are getting a lot of response from that. So we are quite happy, and we thank Dainik Bhaskar, and they're going to continue with us. Wadhwani Foundation was always a partner from us ever since we started this webinar. They are knowledge partners, so we're very thankful to Wadhwani and the entire team at Wadhwani Foundation across our ecosystem partners as well. So today we have speakers, Mr. Mukesh Jagwani, who's the Director of Money Group Financial Advisory Services based in Gujarat. Mr. Pugal, you're familiar with Pugal by now. I've been attending many of our seminars. Mr. Pugal is a senior consultant at Tally Solutions. He's been there in Tally for I don't know how many years, more than 15 years, I guess now. And so definitely I'm going to be introducing him before he speaks. And Mr. Somnath Chatterjee, he's an investment banker. He's been working in various financial institutions. He's an expert. He's a stalwart in the field. And he's also been with us in various events across various cities. So thank you all once again. So what I'm going to do is, as I explained or introduce these speakers to you, I would like to take you through the agenda now. So after my presentation, it's going to be, the first speaker is going to be Mr. Mukesh Jagwani, who's the Director of Money Group Financial Advisory Services. He's going to talk on the topic of finance management and investment tips for MSMEs, followed by Mr. Pugal. And the topic is, again, about finance management, but the topic is, where is your money? So that's a big question, which he will give the answer as well. So Mr. Somnath Chatterjee is going to be the speaker, followed by Mr. Pugal. He's going to talk about managing your business finance during the COVID. And this is also a key subject that every MSME should know. So we'll definitely have a Q&A session towards the end of all the speakers. So if you have any questions, please put it on the question box or the chat box. So we will save that, and we will ask the speakers, so they will be able to answer that to you. So again, a big thank you for all our partners and all our ecosystem partners, Thai Coimbatore, Startup Kerala, Mission, and the SME Chamber of Commerce, Marathwad Chamber, Power to SME, Revanes, Electronic City Industries Association, War India, and Ceramic Standard, which is a magazine for ceramics industry. So I would like to quickly touch upon the company Aspire Media, why we are doing this, and we've been doing so many webinars in the past. So as we have mentioned many times, we found an opportunity to help SMEs, to help them, educate them with knowledge in terms of everything related to the business. So this portal we started in 2010 and been going on, and the magazine is also published every month. So probably the magazine again, people who are not receiving the magazine will be sending the magazine again, the monthly issue. All of our attendees will get a copy free, so monthly issue. Now we are talking about Small Enterprise India. I'm going to talk more on this and just cut out the rest, and we get into the subject. Again, Small Enterprise India, a portal which was launched in 2010 to help SMEs. After say about 11 years, we revamped the site. It's exactly on 2010 July we launched it, and in 2020 we are relaunching it again in July. So the site will look more or less like this. You can also go to and see, it's smallenterpriseindia.com. We have more or less all the subjects which is required for any business, whether it's technology, entrepreneurship, MSME, finance, logistics, hardware and software, supply chain, business travel, marketing, everything that MSME needs to know about doing his business is all been explained fairly well and keeping updated. The site is, the relaunch site is quite new, so you will be, more and more contents have been uploaded. So when you see some sites, it's just adding on slowly, not to worry, you'll get it sooner or later, or the next day you'll see more content coming onto it. So while I was explaining about this, the newsletter subscription, we have more than 1.5 lakh subscribers for the last 10 years, and it is growing, and we're quite happy to say that. So I would encourage all of you to go to our site, subscribe to the newsletter. All you need to do is upload your name and email and subscribe. So you get our weekly newsletter, which is full of information and a lot of offers. Now we are tied up with a lot of partners who are coming in and giving a lot of offers to SMEs. So don't miss it out. Subscribe is very simple. Just go, name, email, that's it. So everyone will get this email, newsletters update from our site. So that's going to be very active. So the unique thing about our website, right now that we have bought is Ask Guru. Now, Ask Guru is quite heavy. It's heavy page in the sense um, 20 top experts in the market, and there are more people joining us, and they voluntarily are willing to help, and your questions will be answered in 24 hours. All you need to is go to and ask your Guru page, whatever your business query is, put it in the format is required, log in the format, ask the question, within 24 hours you get the answer. And you can also meet gurus. There's another page where you say meet guru. You can see from the director of EDIM to all industry experts, are there in the Meet Group page. Very eminent personalities. They are dedicating their time to help the MSMEs in India by answering their questions in whatever possible way they can, and wherever they're traveling, they're busy in life, but they definitely keep some time to answer this. So we have more and more people joining us, as I told you, from across all the domains, whether they are from technology to legal to HR to logistics, and every domain we're getting more people joining us. So we're quite happy about this, and we are more equipped to help MSME. So Small Enterprise India or Aspire Media is trying to become a 360-degree platform to help SMEs. So the magazine is now been about almost 9 years. We started in 2012. So a monthly magazine is going to be covered with every topic that I told you. Again, the target audience is going to be MSMEs across metros, Tier 2, 3, and villages. Covers again based on the cover story, it keeps changing. And so the online, the smallenterpriseindia.com online, these are the different products that we have, the magazine, the club, the awards, email marketing, survey, webinars, industry event, and consulting. So where we can help SMEs who want to have, you face any problem with the business or whatever, we can do a quick consultation and help you in that. So the magazine is on Geo, as I've been telling many times, and also on Maxtra, enabling maximum reach in the market. Editorial calendar is based on every cover story. Every month there will be an interesting cover story where you can learn and get to know more about the subject in depth, whether it's marketing or banking and finance or technology or logistics and so on, and Aspire Consulting. So with this, I'm just concluding the Aspire Media presentation. But as I said, please go on to our newsletter, subscribe, and ask Guru any questions that you have. Please ask. You might have to log in, so just wait after this event, and probably you can start logging in. Now, I would like to quickly introduce the first speaker. Okay, before starting, I would like to explain the rules of the house. Any questions that you want to ask, please raise your hand. You can come live after the session. Okay, don't go in between. And if you're not able to ask, please mark your question in the chat box. So we will save that, and we will keep it to the end, to the Q&A session, which your questions will be answered. So again, I think you're all fine with that. And let me introduce Mr. Mukesh Jagwani. He's the Director of Money Group Financial Services based in Ahmedabad. He is the founder and director of Money Group Financial Services. He is an expert in wealth management and investment banking financial advisor. He also consults into fundraising, debt equity, VC, PE funding from India and overseas angel investors, and IPO consulting for MSME and SME clients across India. At Money Group, Mukesh gives MSMEs advice on equity broking, mutual funds, PMS, fundraising, mergers and acquisitions, JV and alliance, SME IPO consulting. He has built strong foundation network across India and serves his clients across the world. His clients are individuals, retailers, SMEs, MSMEs, corporates, high net worth individuals, and NRIs across the world. So there are certain accreditations in his name. He is the state chairman of Gujarat with the Confederation of Indian Micro, Small and Medium Enterprises and ICT-MAE. He is also part of India Partner for Family Investment Trust for Dubai at Relam Investments. He is also a member of VCCI, Vadodara Chamber of Commerce and Industry. He is a proud BNI member at Vadodara. He is a proud member of Rotary Club of Baroda. So let's welcome Mr. Mukesh. Over to you.
Thank you very much, Dojo, and first of all, heartiest congratulations on relaunch of the small enterprise portal. That's going to be something which will be quite interesting for MSMEs particularly, because they are the ones who always look for such kind of options, because they have so much of queries and inquiries, and they don't get actually the right people to connect, and in turn is where people also get in touch with us, with the kind of queries that they have. So heartiest congratulations, and I would suggest all members and all the participants who are there today to register on this portal, because it's going to be a handy one-side solutions for all of you. Okay, so let me just share my screen. Mr. Dojo, if you can just confirm if the screen is visible.
Yeah, it's visible, Mukesh. You can carry on.
Right. Okay. Thank you. Welcome all. And just to brief you what we do at Money Guru, Mr. Dojo has already briefed most of about what Money Guru does. So Money Guru has this 6 different verticals. I would not be spending much time on what we do. Just to brief more on about us. We have clients across India and abroad. We cater to clients from 8 different countries. We have 1,200 plus satisfied clients. We are based out of Gujarat. More than that, the most important part why I am interacting with you today is we have 100 plus SME, MSME clients for whom we either manage funds or we help them raise funds. We started our operations in 2011. 2020 was a great year to start with, where we were awarded as Promising Enterprise of the Year by Indian Achievers Forum. So that's all about Money Guru. The most important point why we are all here, financial management, owning your own business is amazing, exciting, depressing, and exhilarating at the same time. But in order to continue on the good path, you will need to take care of your money with finance tips. This is something that I have been telling to most of my MSME entrepreneurs, most of my business entrepreneurs, that they need to really work very fine on their finances, on their money aspect. So to begin with, why we need, why people come to us and what kind of support that we give. So few of the challenges that we have cornered with this, marketing related, finance related, technology related, logistics and supply related, legal and tax related, human resource. But I'm not going to talk about the rest. The most important that we're going to talk today about is the finance related problems and the challenges when we discuss with when we look at MSMEs and the entrepreneurs. So one of the major problems are, non-availability of timely and adequate funds at reasonable cost. The bank procedures are too cumbersome for MSME to understand. IPO opportunity, again, for that we need to reach to a level where we can go on public and raise funds. The most important part is, I'll be taking you through a very interesting case study, since we have a limited period of 30 minutes. Since I have been managing 100 plus corporate clients, there is a very interesting case study which I'll take you through, and that will give you an insight as to how the funds and the money is to be managed. The biggest challenge that we also face is unduly delayed payment, especially from large corporate. That's the reason why most of the MSME entrepreneurs would have this working capital shortage, because they are the ones who have been investing their money, reserve, surplus, profits. They create an end product, supply it to large corporates, but then the payments which they are supposed to get within 45-60 days gets delayed, and that's where the working capital cycle gets disturbed. So that's where the role of Money Guru starts, and that's how we advise on the MSMEs and the small business entrepreneurs as to how do you manage your finances. So I'll take you through this a very classy example. As I was saying, there is this company whom we met 5 years back. It's a manufacturing company which is based out of Ahmedabad. And 5 years back when we met them, they started, they came to us and they said that they have invested 25 lakh rupees and they bought a land. Now, typically, why most of the MSME and the business owners diversify investment or their profits to buy a land was basically they thought that it will be fast churning of money and it will give me a quadruplet jump on my investment. And exactly same thing happened with this company also. So this company invested 25 lakh rupees, and in July 2015, today that land is worth 75 lakhs. So in a span of 5 years, this company actually has got 300% appreciation on the investment that they did in land. Unfortunately, in spite of having this 300% return, this investment has become a deadlock. Now, why deadlock? Because today when he's going out to sell that land, it is not getting sold because of a lot of other factors. And since 5 years back, when he was to invest, we had categorically told him that real estate would not be the good investment at this current point of time. But then he still insisted and he invested this money. Second was, as soon as the land got appreciated, so he thought of selling out the land was not getting sold. He thought to give this land to bank and take a collateral based funding on the this land, because this was an NA land. Unfortunately, the banking guidelines got changed, and bankers came back to him and they said that they will not be able to take this land only to give you a collateral funding for your business. Third was, now since he has taken this land, there's a cost which is getting attached to it because there's a maintenance cost, there's a security cost, there's a tax cost to imply to him. So there is every year there is a portion of cost that he's been giving. The most important part was when the land cost became 75 lakh, and today when he was looking at 35 lakh rupees for working capital loan, he couldn't get that 35 lakh of loan from this 75 lakh rupees. That's why I say that this 25 lakh of investment, which has actually become 75 lakh, but then it has become a deadlock. So when we met him 5 years back, we gave him another option, that MSMEs particularly should not be looking at fixed assets. They should avoid investing in land or any other commercial estate or real estate unless they want to have their office being developed. And vis-a-vis, so what we did, so we said there is an opportunities beyond fixed assets and real estate, but when I look at investment, I should also be looking at a return which are inflation beaten result, should have low charges, like people look at land and all, should have at least a risk as compared to other products. As we say that real estate was giving fantastic returns, so we were looking at should be easy to transact. That's the most important aspect today, because he has taken land, he's not able to do anything. And tomorrow, in case of any eventuality happening to this gentleman, to this business owner, what happens to the land, how this family would be managing this land. So we came out with another option for him, and that's where the role of Money Guru starts, where we said financial management and investments for MSMEs. It's not real estate, because that becomes your fixed assets. It is the liquid assets which actually MSMEs should be focusing on. And that's where we said, like, okay, with that one investment in fixed assets, in real estate, let's also look at the liquid assets. And we gave with this liquid assets, so we gave we gave him 4 different options. But before we gave him these options, we made him understood what are liquid funds and what are liquid assets. So a few of them are, I just go through this, liquid funds are one which are highly liquid. Money gets credited to your account in next 2 days, 3 days. Liquid funds have been delivering more than 8% returns to investors. And the most important part is highly return differential selling liquid funds becomes far easier. there are no entry and exit charges, and it's low investment with 10,000 rupees that they can invest. So what we did for this client was, these are various few liquid funds which people might know it from a they can relate to it with different names which are available in the market. So I'm not going to spend more on this. I'll take, so liquid fund, what is the performance that has been giving by this liquid funds? Just look at L&T Ultra Short Term Fund growth, and look at the last column, 3 years consecutively, this fund has been growing by 7.19%. Look at the third option, SBI Magnum Ultra Short Duration Fund, which has been growing consistently by 7.5% for the last 3 years. Okay, now you understand, in last 3 years economy was never consistently growing. It was always ups and downs. We have seen currently with the pandemic situation, we've also seen that, but in last 3 years also we have always seen economy ups and downs, but still we had 100% conviction on the proposition that we were giving to our clients. And what happened was this: 5 years back, our client, we opened his demat account. We invested 15 lakh rupees in July 2015 with this 15 stocks, and look at the result today that we see. This 15 lakh today is worth 38 lakh rupees. In a span of 5 years, this investment actually has become, he has gained 23 lakh rupees profit. And most important, when I come to my next slide, so that was one investment that we did. Second investment, there were two different mutual fund schemes that we had proposed to this client. So in one, we had invested 10 lakh. The investment value today is 14.5 lakh. Again, in the same, another is also 14.5 lakh. The third option that we had given was PMS. A client invested 25 lakhs in July 2015. Today has an investment value of 53 lakhs. The most important aspect why we gave him this liquid asset was easily redeemable. Today, when this client wanted 35 lakh rupees of working capital loan because he had got another order and he wanted to pay EMD and bank guarantee, he went to the bank and he said, I have a land which is worth 75 lakh rupees. Against that, I need a bank guarantee and a loan worth 35 lakh rupees. The bankers rejected that application because bankers would not accept only a NA land. They wanted something else also to be given as a collateral. This client didn't have any other fixed asset. He came back to with us. We opened his portfolio. We went back to another private bank and we said, okay, there is another portfolio that this bank, that this client has in mutual fund, in demat, in PMS, which is today worth close to about 1 crore, and against this 1 crore we need 35 lakhs. So bankers have this product called loan against securities. All these stocks were being pledged, and in 3 days of time customer actually got this 35 lakh rupees of loan, and he could actually pay his EMD and bank guarantee. So why we propose MSMEs to invest into liquid assets? So one is easy to liquidate. Second is partial book profits and let the rest investment grow for your future requirements. As I said, the land that he wanted to dispose of today, there were no buyers because of the value that he was asking for. Second, he cannot sell this land in bits and pieces of parcel. It's a one single land will have to be sold, which is not going to be an easy task. Whereas here in our case, we just had to give this entire portfolio to our client and to the banker, and banker picked up few of the stocks and mutual fund and made 35 lakh rupees of loan available. The all other investments, as it is, it's going to keep on growing because this was a collateral based loan that this banker gave. So while on one side it was very easy process for this client to get the loan, because 5 years back he made an investment of 25 lakh, 10 lakh, 10 lakh and 15 lakh. So that's close to about 40 plus 10 plus 10, 60 lakhs. This 60 lakhs of investment that he did 5 years back is today with valuation of 1.05 crore. That gives him a handy pick to have his funds available at any given point of time, and he is such a comfortable position that whenever he has to go to a bank or ask for a loan, he would just come up and give this portfolio and he takes his loan. So it's absolutely hassle-free investment and managing funds with ease. There are no legal hassles because these are all investments where you have sorry, where all the investments are done through proper guidelines. So there are no legal hassles. In case of any eventuality happening to the member or to the business owner, there are legal rights, there are legal hairs attached to them. The most important aspect is the last part, invest your funds to create wealth, which will make your balance sheet financially strong. One big issue that happens with, particularly when the client had invested this money in land. Now, most of the clients that we have been interacting with this, they buy land in their individual name and not in the name of the company for different reasons. Every client have their own perspective. The funds were actually diverted from their business to their individual account to book that to buy that land. So on one side, you actually reduced your profit because you wanted to buy that land. You've taken out the fund. Now on the second side, the fund has got the fund has got blocked in your individual account, and that parcel has become a deadlock. Whereas all the investments that we did were in mutual fund, were in demat account, were in PMS, were in the name of company, and it reflects in his balance sheet under liquid assets, liquid investments. So all the returns end of the year, that the statement that we give him, he sees that his balance sheet is getting stronger and stronger. So that is how we manage funds for our investment. That is how we advise to our clients as to how the funds have to be managed and why the funds are to be parked in liquid assets and not in fixed assets and real estate. Real estate can definitely give you better returns, but let's look and understand what is my requirement as an MSME, as an entrepreneur. What is my requirement for the business that I am into? Is it 300% appreciation that will help me, or is it the liquid investment and the liquidity which is required to me? So based on this, I am just sharing this one example. I have more than 50 such stories where we have been interacting and we are managing funds for our MSME, SMEs and business entrepreneurs across India, because, we have offices in Baroda, Ahmedabad, Bangalore, and I have just come up with another office at Mumbai where we have one of our director who's based out of Mumbai. But the basic idea was, if you make your balance sheet strong by this investment, this will even help you tomorrow when you cross your turnover, when you grow bigger. And if you want to come out with your IPOs, lot of MSMEs have been actually focusing on that. They want to come out with IPOs, but there are very strict and rigid guidelines from the exchange which is available. We need to comply to these guidelines. And one of the biggest factor and the criteria for these guidelines is we need to have a strong balance sheet. While we have a strong and a good turnover, but it's equally important that we have a strong balance sheet. A lot of entrepreneurs that we see and interact, they take loans from bank. In this case also, if he would have not done this investment and if he would have taken a collateral based investment, there is a limitation for every business entrepreneur, because how much collateral can a MSME can give to bank, and bank would always ask for a collateral based funding. Very rarely bankers would look at unsecured based funding that they would be giving to MSMEs. Government has been giving a lot of MSME schemes, subsidies, benefits, everything is in place. It is the MSME entrepreneurs and the SMEs and the business owners which actually have to transform themselves, do a financial transformation and help themselves to make themselves financially strong and create their balance sheet very strong. With this, I would end my session. I am open to take the queries in case if anyone has. I'll stop sharing.
Yes, yeah, you can. You can stop sharing. So what we can do, Mukesh, is there will be some questions and answers. So we will keep it to the last session. We have a Q&A session, so we can, So anyway, thanks a lot. It was quite an informative session. Probably these sessions are not meant for a short, duration. There will be a lot of questions from the audience, and it might take much more longer. But at least I think you have summarized the whole thing within the 20-25 minutes. So thank you very much for that, Mr. Mukesh. So while we, before we get on to the next session, there's a quick commercial break. A couple of our partner videos will be shown now. Thank you.
The Vadhani Advantage Program, helping small businesses grow. Do these questions keep you up at night? How can I grow my revenues? Should I look at new products? Need a good lawyer or an accountant? Who can help me with funding? Vadhani Advantage can help. How do we do it? The Vadhani Advantage Program provides access to a complete ecosystem of partners to help SMEs like you grow. From finding a good accountant to helping you get a working capital loan, or finding new customers, or even charting out your strategy to expand globally, we have it all covered. The Vadhani Advantage team and its vast network puts their rich knowledge and experience at your disposal in the form of content assets that include do-it-yourself guides for quick impact, self-assessment tools, videos, case studies, and more. And all this is available for free to all Vadhani Advantage Program members for life. In addition, we are available to help you chalk out a personalized transformation growth plan that puts you on a hyper-growth path. Vadhani Foundation is a non-profit organization started by Dr. Ramesh Vadhani, a Silicon Valley-based billionaire. We are currently present in 22 countries around the world. We do not charge for any of our services or for our platform. Service providers on our platform are all reliable and charge reasonable rates for their services. All we want from you is an investment of your time and a commitment to achieve hyper-growth in your business. The Vadhani Advantage Program provides you access to verified business services and lead generation platforms. We also give you access to unlimited tools and do-it-yourself guides to help you streamline and grow your business. You also get access to the Vadhani Advantage Transformation team for personalized support for your business. So what are you waiting for? Join the Vadhani Advantage Program and help your business soar.
Thank you for staying back. So we would like to welcome our next speaker. Before that, as I mentioned, feel free to visit smallenterpriseindia.com website and subscribe to newsletters. There are a lot of information coming your way every week, and a lot of offers and things like that. And also, we request you to try the Ask Guru page after the session, and so that it'll be more live. So let me welcome Mr. Pugal T, who is a senior consultant at Tally Solutions. He has been a regular speaker at our platform, but for people who are not aware of who Pugal is, so let me introduce Mr. Pugal. He comes with over 36 years of wide-ranging experience in the field of accounts, inventory, statutory, and training. Pugal is associated with Tally Solutions Private Limited for the past 15 years as a senior consultant and has shouldered various responsibilities in the organization, heading various functions like Tally's education division, head of compliance R&D, head of product management audit tool, and conducted over 100 ICAI chapters events across India. From July 2016, he was entrusted with responsibilities of GST knowledge base and dissemination of knowledge to impart training on the GST domain as Head Center of Excellence GST. During this stint, have conducted over 200 GST domain sessions for various stakeholders like chartered accountants, tax practitioners, Tally's partner ecosystem, and customers. Conducted faculty development programs for college professors and faculty across India. So, Mr. Pugal is going to talk about managing your finance. Where is your money? So let's ask him, and let's welcome Mr. Pugal. Over to you.
Thank you, Mr. Dojo. And again, kudos to Dojo and Aspire Media team for doing a wonderful job. And Aspire Media has added one more feather to his cap by relaunching their new website. And especially, the very interesting thing is the Ask Guru. I think all MSMEs need to take advantage of the experts that are there, where you can get your answers, queries answered, your doubts clarified, and all those things. So definitely, all of you should enroll for that. So today, my session, I have a very small presentation. Let me just share that.
Yes.
So my session today is basically about managing your finance, and the question is, where is the money? So good evening once again to all of you. I hope all of you are taking extra care to ensure that you are negative of COVID-19 with your positive attitude. So, in fact, managing your finances, right? We must have heard this term, or probably you must have made this statement saying that I don't know where the money is going. Right. So we have heard this many times, and sometimes we are also surprised that I don't know. I'm earning so much, there is so much of revenue, but I don't know where the money is going. Right. So it is very important that we have control over the money and the funds and the finances of the organization. Some of the themes that I'm going to discuss about here is basically that how you can manage your finances. So all of us know about this terminology: money saved is money earned, right? So it's very important. So basically, the MSMEs now have to definitely start with a new budget system or a planning for your organization. So what I would suggest is the system should be 70, 20, and 10. So what is the 70%? The 70% of your revenue should be, you should be in a position to able to manage your businesses. And the next 20% is very important, that you save for or invest in the technology. And the last 10%, you invest in your workforce to increase their competency level. So by doing this, you will actually, make yourself and your organization future ready. So what are those three C's that is required for you to manage your finances? So let me just give a very small analogy of what you should be your strategy for managing your finance. This is the managing your finances like the sport of hunting and fishing. So if I ask all of you, which sport would you be interested in? Would you want to be a hunter, or you want to do hunting, or you want to do fishing? Can I quickly see on the chat that your answer? Hunting, you can type H, and fishing you can type F. Can I quickly see? Come on, respond. Good, okay. You can just type H or F. Can I see more responses? Yes, okay. Can I see more responses? Okay, okay.
You want to repeat the question once again?
So
Or
far, if I ask you which sport you would be interested in, do you want to do hunting or you want to do fishing? So people who want to do hunting, just type H, and people who want to go fishing, please type F. Okay, all right. Uh, Great. I mean, I think H is more as expected. Okay. See, what do you do in hunting? Basically, in hunting, thanks for the participant. Basically, in hunting, what you do, I mean, like you chase this target. Now, why many of you have chose hunting is basically because it gives you a thrill, right? So you run behind the target, you chase the target, and then you hit the target or capture the target. But in fishing, what do we do? In fishing, it is very simple, right? I mean, like you take your fishing rod, put your bait into the hook, and then take one chair and then rest, and then put the bait in the water. And now, what happens in the fishing? The target actually comes to you, right? So basically, if you see, if I draw this analogy of hunting and fishing, uh, hunting is, if you see in hunting, actually you know the target, but in fishing, you do not know the target, but I mean, like you can make the target come to you. That is very, very important and very critical. So sourcing of fund from external source is like hunting, and fishing is like hidden or sunken cost, which if you have a fishing rod and the bait with you, the target is going to come to you. Yes, fishing is, you have to wait a bit longer. But I mean, like in this session, basically I'm going to talk about the fishing strategies. What are the fishing strategies that you need to adopt, especially during this time, and how you can adopt this in your operation and generate and manage your own finances. And this is a sustainable strategy. So three very important C's to manage your finances. Definitely, the cash flow management. So what are the steps that you need to take for managing your cash flow? Are you on top of your cash flow management? So is what we will be seeing. The next is, yes, definitely cutting your cost, where you can improve your bottom line and see what all costs that you can cut during this hardship, and how do you manage all these things. So it's very important that you choose the right technology. You will definitely have a business solution with you, and then there are so many other technologies that are available today, and basically they are, I mean, like free of charge is available. See how you can make use of this technology, so that you are on top of your cash flow management, and how you are able to visualize what are the areas that you can basically cut costs. Now, the first part is basically the receivable part. What controls, what systems, and what processes change is required for you to manage your receivable. Couple of points here, like basically now I'm sure that I mean, like it is going to be very, very critical for you to now evaluate your customers, and probably you would have done due diligence of your customers, see who's your I mean, like good paymaster, and who is not pays you on time, and those kind of things. And then generally here is where basically you would want to adapt the Pareto's principle of 80-20, where you need to now see what is the 20% of your customer who is going to give you 80% of your business. So in that case, do you have a system or a process of default credit period? Can you attach that into your software that you are using, or the solution that you are using, so that basically you have a visibility of what are the amounts that you are supposed to get on ongoing basis or on a daily basis. Next is basically that you should be able to specify credit limit for different kind of your customers, where I mean, like the whole idea of credit limit is that you are putting a control over the amount of outstanding that is going to be lying with your customer. So it is very important. The moment you have a credit limit, I'll just give an example. For example, let us say you have a credit limit set for a customer of 1 lakh rupee, and you have already invoiced him where the invoice value is about 95,000 rupees, and it is still outstanding. Now, if this person is going to basically ask for further supply, and if you have not specified the credit limit, and if you don't make your system to warn you or stop you from exceeding the credit limit, when you are doing this invoicing, the system will basically now going to alert you, or probably it will stop you, saying that the limit is only 1 lakh 95 is already outstanding, the invoice that you are doing is about 30,000 rupees, so it will not allow. So that's very important aspect. Like, how do you build those processes? How your system or the business solution that you are using is going to help you in bringing this controls. The third aspect is basically that while invoicing, the same example if I'm extending. So while invoicing, if you know that there is a control. Now, for example, there are some invoicing. Now let's take an example that this customer has 1 lakh credit limit, and you have made a first supply which is about 50,000. Now the second lot of item that is ordered, say, is about 30,000 rupees. So that means if you are billing to him, probably it is below the credit limit. But then the first invoice, based on the default credit period that you are setting for that particular customer, let's say you are giving him a credit period of 15 days, and let's say on the 20th day he is now asking for the second consignment. So while invoicing, are you aware that there are some outstanding pending of this customer with you, and if your system or the solution that you are using, if it is able to alert you, these kind of things, basically this allows you to have better control over your uh, outstanding management or your receivables. The last but not the least is basically, this is again a very important thing, which generally what I've realized during these various sessions and meetings that I conduct, is that majority of the MSME are not aware of this hidden cost, or or you can call it as a sunken cost. Now, for example, let's take the same. I'm getting into the receivable management controls. Let us say that you have given a credit period of 15 days or 30 days to your customer, but it is already 40 days, and beyond 40 or 50 days, the money is still not come. Right. So one is that, yes, do you have those visibility, and do you know that by how many days it is overdue? And the most important thing that you need to see here is that, what is the loss of interest? Basically return on investment. See, majority of the MSMEs, basically we go for funding. Our working capital is funded by bankers or non-banking financial corporations, where you go for an external loan and you pay interest on the borrowed loan. And the credit that you are offering to your customer is as good as offering the working capital to your customer without any interest. So you would have devised a framework or a policy of your credit management, credit period, and various other credit management system. But then if any of the amount that is overdue beyond the credit limit, so one is that, do you have the visibility of that? Number two is that what is the amount of interest that you're losing? Because this way what happens, you pay interest for your money which somebody else is enjoying without any interest, and in fact literally it is going to be a double whammy of interest that you're going to pay. So how do you control all those things? So these are some of those invisible and your sunken cost, which definitely the receivable management should be on a thing. You have to be on top of this by doing this whole thing, right? What is that you need to see? Basically, if you see, cash is king. Okay, so we should be on top of your cash management, and you must have a clear visibility of where the money is going, and where the money is going to come, and when is it going to come, right? And what mode? How soon are you able to get it? So these are very important. So by doing this, probably you should have this whole system in one single integrated software that you are using, or use any technology. There are a lot of apps and technologies that are there. So basically, if you have a better credit control management in your organization, and if you are able to track those receivables, when the monies are going to come, and all those things, basically you will be on top of your cash and fund flow. The other important aspect is basically how are you now managing your cash flow. I mean, like, you need to have a projection of your cash flow where you will make sure that, I mean, like, month on month, what is your position and how you are able to handle the cash flow. Like, for if you are able to, there are some recurring expenses, fixed expenses, which you have to consider as part of your cash flow management. If you are able to pass them as a provisional entry, put it into your system, and basically with these two information that are available, you should be able to get your cash flow projection at your fingertip. And the third important aspect is basically you are optimizing your inventory. It is very important. We have to ensure that, the product that you are dealing in, right? So what are the products which are fast moving, which are slow moving, non moving, and what strategies, what processes that you will bring into your organization so that your non moving and slow moving products can be eliminated, or you can decide, do you really need to stock them or no. So the system that you are using should basically help you to get this information. The next one is basically which product is giving you the better margin. I mean, like, do you have control over them? Do you have visibility of the products which are doing well, which are giving you better margin, and the product which are not fetching you a better margin? Is one aspect of it. The second aspect of it, when you're selling number of products to a customer, are you on top, or are you getting the information, or are you getting the idea of how much of profit that you are making, right? For example, I made this invoice with 10 or 15 items in this particular thing. Did I really make profit out of this? So you need to basically have system which can basically give you this information at a fingertip. Then are you able to track and keep up to your committed supplies to your customers, because it is very important. Because today we are in the instant world. I mean, 1 or 2 day of delay, your customer is going to go to somebody else. Now, do you have control over your commitments, or do those commitments? Are you able to meet those commitment? And is there your orders that are required to meet your commitment? Do you have control over those orders? These are again important aspect of your inventory management, because the more inventory is lying with you, or the longer inventory is lying with you, it is actually, I mean, like, it is blocking of your working capital. The cash flow is going to get blocked. So it is very important you see that how you are able to manage your inventory, and have a better inventory system. So what are your reorder levels? I mean, like, your system should basically help you once you provide this information, like minimum order, reorder level, this whole thing of inventory management. What is the objective that you need to achieve, and what is that we want to get finally out of it is basically the inventory just-in-time stock. If you have a just-in-time stock, you have a better working capital, you have a better cash flow management in your organization. These are some of the small areas that you can take care of, which basically helps you to, with the concept of saving money is like earning money, right? So to basically summarize, three very important mantras that we need to definitely remember, and make sure that we are able to take this mantra seriously, and then see how we can uh, take our business to the next level, or how soon can you be future ready. So the three mantras are basically awake, arise, and act. So this is very critical, and I wish all MSMEs a great business ahead. With all these problems are there, we have to see for an opportunity in every problem. So thank you very much.
Thank you for that session. And any questions that anyone wants to ask, please share it on your in the chat box, and we will definitely be taking them one by one towards the end of the session at the Q&A session, actually. So please feel free to ask your questions, so that we can provide you the answers. So let's get on to the next speaker, Mr. Somnath Chatterjee. I'll definitely introduce Mr. Somnath Chatterjee to you. He's a finance expert consultant. He's an investment banker. For the last 20 years experience in banking and financial services, of which 13 years in banking, 2 years with Forex consulting. Mr. Somnath has worked mainly with SME Group for 8 years and have exposure in retail assets, business loans, CMS, trade finance, treasury products, liabilities, branch banking operations, commercial banking, and commercial banking. Also into third-party products and wealth management. Mr. Somnath has managed large teams within the region, also have experience on the product side as a product manager for trade and assets, strong networking in SME and high net worth individual space. He's a keen golfer and regular marathon runner, but I think during this time he will be best to get home. He is pursuing his doctorate in accounts and finance from IIM Ranchi. So let's welcome Mr. Somnath. Over to you.
Thank you, Dojo, for such a nice introduction, and happy to be here. And good evening, all my friends, colleagues, audience, and other panelists. And Dojo, the site which you actually, you have relaunched is a wonderful one, and I think you're doing a very great work, by helping and developing the most important segment of our society, which is SME. India is the land of SME and MSME, and so the bankers, they feel, and I'm telling you, all the bankers would be very happy to see that you are doing this. You are serving actually to the business community. So great work by you and your team, and I'm very happy to partner with you in that, and in whatever form we can. And I think with this we can create a huge value in the country on this platform. And once things become normal, I'm sure whenever 3 months, 6 months, we can do a lot of face-to-face interaction, a lot of other things, which will add a lot of value. Thank you. With this, I just get on to my presentation.
Nice. उनसे वो अभी तक कल भी तो फोटो अपलोड करी, आज करती हूँ, आज संडे सैटरडे नहीं, उसके ऑर्डर आइन थोड़े दिन खानूंगी, वो सब लेती हूँ, बट उसको कल रहा हूँ ना बता। और
Is my presentation visible, Dojo?
Yeah, it's visible. You just try to enlarge your screen.
I'll do that.
सिर्फ आपका रेज्यूमे भेजे ना तुम्हें मुझे.
It's visible, right?
मैंने अपलोड भेजी थी मेरे दोस्त को.
Yes, it's visible. Continue. Carry on.
Yeah. So I will be speaking on the financial planning for the SMEs during COVID times, and what happened and what is happening and what do we look in future. So we'll talk about in the coming short-term future. While most of the things we have witnessed here, a lot of things have been also covered by my esteemed panelists earlier, but I will probably try to give some more side on the banking side and give more perspective. So, situation prior to COVID, even before the COVID in the month of January, February, if you look at Indian economy and global economy had been struggling. There had been a lot of struggle in the growth. Numbers were not looking good. There were new strategies were coming up. Both domestic and international rating agencies and institutions were reducing forecast for India's growth. So now probably we have forgotten those times, but actually in those times, if you remember, the GDP estimates were continuously being discounted and being reduced by the International Agency for India. So now we don't remember that, because now it's as fresh as the COVID, and which we are struggling. It's a totally different world. But banks will continue to struggle with NPA situation. The NPA level, to give you a perspective, will be about 4.5% to 5% of all average of the banks. Private bank being slightly lower, PSU banks will be slightly higher, but which is very high. These levels are not at all good for the health of the economy. Many banks were resorting to sell off non-performing loans to asset reconstruction company. A lot of the banks were selling their bad loans. There's something called a bad bank, which has been discussed to come. Bad bank means that all the bad loans will be parked in that bank. They will buy it at a discount rate, a haircut rate, and then they will be doing the resolution. So bad bank is still a theoretical concept. Government and RBI are willing for that. We have to see in future whether it comes or not. However, equity market were at a lifetime peak. So this is equity market is not always an indicator of the what is happening, because if you look at the market fell to 26,000 level from 42, 43, went to 26, and now again it's high. The Sensex is high at 37, 38. So while GDP is going down, while forecasts are down, equity markets are doing very well, because equity markets is the projection of the future earnings, not present. So equity markets is not always an indicator of the economy. Lockdown on impact drivers. So what were the knocking down points which we had? Lockdown. Now also we are seeing somewhere unlock 1 happened, unlock 2 happened. Now we are talking about unlock 3. But by and large, many of the states are going for lockdown. Today also, in the weekend also, there are 3 or 4 states which are there under lockdown. So it's there. Partially lockdown is happening. Businesses are getting suffered. Many of the businesses are not still yet open. Economic contraction, the GDP going down, monetary and fiscal stimulus given by government. We have seen how RBI and we have seen how the finance ministry has come up with 20 lakh crore stimulus. Market sell-off and job losses. We have seen companies going bad, job losses, people getting retrenched, global supply chain disruption because of airlines not moving, because of cargo not coming. The global chain disruption is happening. Consumer behavior is changing. Consumer behavior is changing in many ways. Restaurants are closed, malls are closed, movie theater are closed. People are buying online. People are watching movies online. Education is happening online. While a lot of things have moved to the digital side of it. So consumer behavior have changed a lot. Economic recovery. Now, what is the kind of recovery we are expecting? Is it a U shape? Is it a V shape curve, or it is a L shape curve? So that's the discussion which is economists keep saying. Some economists say it's a U shape, somebody say V, somebody L, but it's a matter of debate, and we have to see what happens in future. A rebalancing of trade between nations. So what is happening is we had every country had high dependence on the imports. Because of this lockdown, we have seen that now we cannot depend on other countries. We have to produce internally. For example, which is the present government is doing the Atmanirbhar Bharat. And yesterday we read an article by one of the ministers mentioning that iPhone 11 will now be manufactured in India. So the balance of trade between nations will happen. The countries will depend more internally rather than externally, because whenever there's a pandemic, something like this coming, it impacts the supply chain. Thereby, it is better to be self-dependent. So are you a company facing this? Where am I going? What am I doing? What is the meaning of life? Because there are a lot of things are happening and which is making us confused. So what we need to do, we need to halt, we need to plan, and we need to refresh. That is the new mantra. So it's a new world. It's a new, as they say, it's a new opening, or it's a new normal. So we need to just halt for a moment and step and think, how do I focus my business and where to go? The new normal is what? Social distancing. So earlier, the thing was different. Now we have to maintain social distance. Not only it is a norm from the government, it is also for our safety. We should be maintaining social distance, not to go to crowded places. Cash runway. Business should be having cash runway. What do I mean by cash runway? Cash runway means you should have a sufficient amount of liquidity that has to be planned, because there will be zero revenue. There will be businesses which had been in zero revenue for last few months. There will be very limited number of amount of revenue. There will be losses coming in. So cash runway to be built. Rescue financing. So getting some short-term financing. Zero revenue, as I mentioned. Work from home. This work from home, while in some industry it was prevalent, but not in most of the industry. Mostly with the SME businesses, work from home becomes very difficult when you have a small kind of setup. But this is the new thing which is pushing us to work from home. Zoom call, WebEx, these are now the new mantra as we are talking on a webinar. Otherwise, today we would have been in a Bangalore or a Mumbai or a Chennai doing a session face-to-face. Telemedicine concept came in the year 2000. And nobody actually looked at it. And today it has become so popular, telemedicine. There are companies who are getting investment coming in the telemedicine, and we will see a rapid jump on this business. So what you need to do in this: preserve, restore, restructure, and grow. So your resilient leadership and succession planning. In your businesses, you have to continuously look at the leadership, your key people who are there, and succession planning. See, why I'm saying succession planning is because COVID is a thing which has hit us on the health side, not only on the financial side, it's on the health side as well. So thereby,
Okay.
So thereby, you have to look at the
What is
succession
this
planning.
mini thing? Re?
Then is the liquidity management.
Mini orange social link thing.
Then liquidity management, cash flow modeling, review business,
Acha, I just
review businesses in detail, devil in the detail. Doji, you are there on the call?
Yes, yes, I'm here. Don't worry.
try
I'll
refreshing.
continue, na?
Yes, yes, please go ahead.
Okay.
Then control your cost, cut your bad cost, restore good cost. Okay. Why I said review your business in detail is look at every item in your P&L and balance sheet. Every item. Because
What happened?
there will be item which you have to now innovate, you have to
Why like
reinvent,
that?
you have to relook
What
at
is
it.
it?
It cannot be what was pre-COVID times. Renegotiate your
Unplug it.
contracts actively. Every contract to be with every vendor. So when you should be
Editing
looking at the
menu.
contract, whether it's a landlord, whether it's a supplier, you need to get quick cash. In fact,
You didn't delete
even for
them.
for your supplier also, they'll be insisting on cash. Now, cash is the king, as
I'm
my
getting
last
email.
panelist Google said. So everyone is insisting on cash.
Check the error
The
line.
credit
No?
period is going
What?
off.
Just
So
check
you
the
renegotiate all your contracts actively. Look at the interest rate. Look at the term, and I'll come to the working capital later on.
Because I
Accelerate financing
have
options, existing
last
investor banks,
question.
NBFC, etc. Look at other financing options, which is like existing investors are there, banks are there, NBFC. Keep an eye on
Will it
other
affect the
investors.
main site?
So there's some regulatory package which were given. Just briefly touch upon which benefits from this
Yeah,
group is
maybe some
basically
plugin is
there's a
called.
relief of moratorium. There's a moratorium given 6 months from 1st March to 31st August. This is given to all term loans, including agriculture term loan,
So by
retail,
the way,
and
how to change
crop
the
loan.
default this thing?
Moratorium of 6 months on payment of all installments
Default
on
login.
principal,
Like if I put
on
a default
all
login to go
interest,
into this thing, no?
and bullet repayments, EMIs, credit card dues. So both
Yeah.
retail
Yeah.
and on the corporate side, it has been given on the term loan. Similarly, the benefit, the moratorium is given on the working capital facility, which includes cash credit and overdraft. Earlier was the term loan. Working capital also given. The interest rates for deferred by 6 months.
Don't
Interest
activate
shall continue
that.
to accrue and to be recovered immediately after the completion of deferred period. So, which is as of now is till 31st August, and we have to wait and watch whether RBI and the
That
Ministry
is
of
there.
Finance they extend the moratorium. This we don't know. There's again a debate on that. Recalculation of the drawing power by reducing the margin or reassessing the working capital cycle. So you have to recalculate the drawing power of the particular facility by reducing the margin. A relief shall be available in all respects such changes up to 31st August. So from 1st March to 31st August, 6 months, this moratorium is there. What are the financial strategy each of the SME, each of the company should be looking at? One I covered earlier, that renegotiate contracts with your existing vendors, even if a customer or your suppliers. Every place you have to renegotiate because everyone is doing the same. And with the new normal, you have to look at each of the interest cost, each of the cost and negotiate. And it can be anything. As I said, that it can be your landlord, it can be your supplier, it can be your customers, it can be any kind of vendor. Renegotiate rental or relocation to smaller premises due to work from home. Everyone is renegotiating because the real estate market rates are going down. If you look at a lot of offices vacated, if you look at a lot of business centers are now operating at 25-30% level, which were earlier 80-90% level. So you can renegotiate your rentals, saying the rates have come down. Since the rates have come down, my rent should go down. Similarly, if your most of the staff are working from home and they will be doing that, or your business gives an opportunity to work from home, you should relocate to a lesser expensive, smaller office, depending on your business requirement. Reduce the working capital cycle. So basically, how you reduce it, increase the number of time cash to cash cycle by reducing debtor on inventory. So number of times, if you can, turn over your cash, which is called the cash to cash cycle, or the days of working capital, if you can reduce, you automatically make money. So basically, one point I was saying, you reduce your debtor, or don't keep don't keep too much of inventory, so that quickly you can convert your inventory into debtors and into cash. So whatever the number of days your debtors or inventory was there, you have to reduce that. You have to look at it minutely. Focus more on quick sales. So what do I mean to say on quick sales is the products which are very quickly which can be sold. don't look at products which will take time to liquidate. Deferment of bonus and incentives. So if your staff, you have bonus and incentives, they are there with you. Give them confidence. It's not a good strategy to lay off people, but it's deferment of bonuses and incentives that, okay, once the thing turn around, we'll give it to you. And instead of and with doing that also, invest in your key people. Give some stocks and equity to key management. This is the time when this is a symbolic thing. You have the key management with you. If you are not giving them bonus and instead at the time, at least give them some equity which will be helpful for them in terms of financial needs. Also, it becomes that they also get some ownership in the company and they'll work for you. And we have seen ESOPs, which is called, or equity, really work well with all kind of companies. To continuously engage with bankers on limit enhancement and rescheduling. See, rescheduling is not restructuring. Restructuring is the restructuring of the entire facility. Rescheduling is the payment scheduling. So please speak to your bankers. I will not go detail on this product, but please continue to engage with your bankers on your limit enhancement, rescheduling, restructuring. Explore other options of financing. Not only banks, because banks are highly regulated and at times they are not able to lend. So go to finance companies like NBFC. There are various NBFC in various, and they are localized. The advantage with NBFCs are they are localized. They have a localized strategy, and they will help. They can customize a lot of products, unlike a bank. Explore raising capital through dilution of equity, which is for venture capital, private equity, angel investors. What happens many a times, you are not able to raise the debt either because of collateral or because of interest cost. You can always sell some part of your ownership and raise money from venture capital, private equity, angel investor. I'll be happy to engage on these topics later on if anybody wants to, because these are in-depth session in themselves. But this is the option which startups take, which medium-sized company, of course, large companies always take. Keep cash runways, as I discussed earlier. Ensure liquidity is there. So liquidity, thereby you cut a lot of cost, defer your spending so that you have the cash with you. Monetize your assets to keep enough liquidity. Try to monetize some of your assets, like gold loan. So yesterday there was an article in Economic Times, and all my banker friends also have been seeing that they are pushing the gold loan product very well. Why? Because the gold has touched all-time high of 50,000 rupees per 10 gram, and it's going to increase. So what has happened? The metal which you have bought at a lower price has suddenly gone up. Against this, you can get a good amount of loan. I know in India we have many of us have this supposition: we'll not sell the gold or we'll not keep it as a pledge and take money. But believe you me, gold loan is a very popular product. Muthoot Finance, which is the leading finance company, they have given their numbers that in last 3 months they have done 9,000 crore of disbursement against gold loan. So this is like monetized. You are not selling. You are just monetized. You have an asset which is lying in your locker. Against that, you are getting the cash, and once your cash starts coming, you get it back. So, and this product is doing very well in the market among the bankers and NBFC in this time, just because the value of the asset has gone up. Loan against property, if you have a property, but where here the property appreciation is not happened, but at least you can monetize your asset and property and get some money to run the business, because it's crisis time. Somehow you have to manage liquidity. If you can sail through this 3-6 months, things will be fine. See, this is a challenge now we have, is not only health and finance both. So we have to somehow come out of this period. So these are the products which can monetize your assets. Implement digital strategy in every product and process. Like my other esteemed panelists mentioned, digital. Now the world will move too much into digital. Now every business, even a smallest of the business, will get into digital. So if you look at a small, any of the small vendor on the road, earlier he had nothing. Now he'll have a mobile. You can just call him on the cell and ask him to send a pakoda or a samosa or a chai to your house. They will send. So this is only a mobile, I'm saying. With this, there are so many apps, so many things coming. So digital is the key business. Everyone needs digital. Even the smallest of the vendor need to get into digital. So you need not every time hire a digital guy. You can outsource. There are data scientists, people available. There are artificial intelligence apps you can develop, getting outsourced people. Do your contract well, read about it, get experts from the market. But if you are not getting digital, you will not be in this business. That's the biggest thing now. We have to go digital. Otherwise, the COVID times has taken us the digital revolution. What would have happened in 10 years now will happen in next 6 to 8 months. There's more of a push there. Every business line will have a digital opportunity, which is the future, which is there. Innovate new product line, which is an extension to the present business. For example, we have seen many people who are out of their current employment, current business, they are innovating. So one of the example is making mask and sanitizer. This is the easiest thing which a lot of businesses have picked up and they are selling it. But apart from that, within your lines, business line, you can innovate new products which will be in demand. That you have to think. Cut down on bad cost immediately. Don't incur bad cost. You have to look which you can, but at the same time, keep the good cost. Don't let the good cost go. Monitor your bank cost minutely and try to reduce the same. Look at your bank statement every day. Look at the bank charges which is being levied. Speak to your bankers. Be in touch and reduce that. Introduce health insurance and term plan for the team. This is a very sensitive point I wanted to mention because see, this is if God forbid any of your team member get get infected with the COVID, it's a health issue and the kind of treatment cost is so high. So I think it's important and he'll come to you, he or she, because you are the employer. Ultimately they'll come. So have a health insurance, talk to your bankers, talk to insurance company, have a group health insurance and a term plan. Because God forbid if something happens to somebody's life and he's an employee for you, this will take care. This is a very sensitive point and it will take, I think, the businesses a way forward. This is not a very big cost and don't term it as a cost. It's an investment. Health is an investment for everyone, whether it's for us individually or for the company. It will only go a long way. And health insurance is going to be important day by the day. Funding institution expectations are announce a new scheme for restructuring and rescheduling. We are expecting some moratorium. What the bankers expect that probably moratorium will not be extended beyond 31st August, but for some specific sector like aviation industry, there might be extension. But others, they're saying have a restructuring of the loan or rescheduling of the loan. Extension of moratorium to stress sectors such as aviation, hospitality, etc. might happen. Buying of bonds, RBI will buy more bonds to infuse liquidity. They had been doing it just to supply money in the market, which they have done a lot, in fact. Relaxing NPA norms. NPA norms with the moratorium has been relaxed. We expect more relaxation. Further rate cut, I think this 4th to 6th, there's a meeting of MPC, which is the committee which decides the rate cut. So what the people expectation are, there are no rate cut this time, but of course it might happen in October. There will be one round more of rate cut which is going to happen in this calendar year. And inflation control measures. We have seen inflation actually crossing more than 6% is going very high. The prices have gone up. But RBI is really doing a good job in this. They have been getting good liquidity, good policy, and very proactively along with the ministry, they have done good number of measures. The precaution, I think, what you should avoid is taking private loan. Avoid in this because there will be many HNI who will have money who will be there. Avoid the private loan unless and until very much required. Take loans only when required. If you are happy without debt, manage it. Understand flat versus reducing rate of interest. So when you are taking a loan, please understand the rate of interest. Speak to one of the friends, speak to your chartered accountant, speak to anybody and understand the rate of interest, how it is calculated. Read fine prints in the loan document or the agreement. Please go through it. It makes sense. If you are taking a loan, there will be a bunch of papers to be signed. It makes sense to at least go through it once and understand. Avail loan with right structure suited to your kind of business. So there are various kind of loans for various businesses. So see that something is suiting to your nature of business. Maintain healthy credit score. Nowadays, one of those days when you can default with one bank and go to other, the scores are there. And there is Receivables, there is Equifax, so all kind of scoring, entire history, credit history will come up. Maintain good operational flow. Go digital and less on cash transaction, as I mentioned earlier. Usage of credit card and timely repayments improve credit score. So keep using credit card and timely pay the money. It will improve your credit score. The key value driver, financial driver, which will be looked at is the quality of revenue. How good is the quality of your earnings are, quality of revenues are. Your normalized working capital, quality of your working capital, how what is the cash to cash cycle, and the net debt item. That means how much loan you have taken. These will be the key value drivers which will be looked at. Of course, people will understand that this is a tough time. Your for last 3 months or 4 months or coming 2 months, business dip will be aberration. So it might be an aberration, but prior to then and post this, people will look at. These are called obstruction. These kind of period in finance or in economics we call it a obstruction or a noise. So bankers will ignore this period. Deal value drivers, qualitative value driver. The qualitative value driver specifically looked at your quality of senior management. That means the key people who are running your business, quality of people and culture you are driving. That's why I said if you have a health policy term, it's a kind of culture. You give some equity, people are with you. What are your intellectual property rights? If you have some IP, if you have something very proprietary to you, and profile of your customers you are dealing with. What is the quality? So this will be the qualitative driver. So this is what I wanted to present from my side on the entire thing. But before I end my presentation, I want to a couple of quotes I want to protect. Being challenged in life is inevitable, but being defeated is optional. So we get challenged, but defeat is in our hand. And an optimist sees an opportunity in every calamity, but a pessimist sees a calamity in every opportunity. This is Sir Winston Churchill. So we have a lot of opportunity which we can see in this calamity, like go digital, like change your business model, reducing cost, and probably you will find that you are coming out much better than what you were earlier. And lastly, I want to end my presentation with a quote from a great poet, Rabindranath Tagore, who says that I do not pray so that you save me from danger. Instead, I entreat you to make me grow unafraid. Perhaps you might consider not consoling me when I am filled with sorrow. Let me instead learn to conquer it when faced with pain. My prayer is not for you to be my savior. I would rather you give me the will to overcome. Let me humbly know you for my own in times of happiness, so that on the darkest of nights, when the world turns away, I may not doubt your benevolent presence. With this, I end my presentation. Thank you so much. Happy to take any questions after this. My email ID and phone number, anybody wants to connect any question, I'll be happy to do. Thank you so much, Dojo. Over to you.
Thank you, Mr. Somnath. It was indeed a wonderful presentation, actually. Mr. Mukesh, can you hear me? Okay.
Yeah, I can.
Good. So great. So I just want to have a few questions from the audience, and which we would like to share with you. But we have a guest today, which is Mr. Gopinath. He is the Deputy Director of MSME Bangalore. So he is trying to join, and so please give us some minute, and so I'll just connect Mr. Gopinath onto the panel. Start with the questions. So I'll ask my colleague to help Mr. Gopinath so to come on. We have a few questions from the audience, so probably I'll share that with you. And one question is for the first question. I'll put it to Mr. Pugal. This is from Mr. Pradeep Das. He's the Director of Ad Metal Solutions. So I think he is caught under the hunting and fishing. So is there a difference between hunting and fishing model in terms of finance? Can you explain? I don't know whether you did your hunting well or you did your fishing well today.
I didn't.
He wants to know the hunting and fishing model. Yeah, the question is directly to you. Since you introduced the term of hunting and fishing so he wants to know how will that be explained in finance, or can you just explain that to him?
Yeah, sure. See, basically, I drew an analogy saying that hunting and fishing. Hunting is something where you run after. There is a crisis, you always, would want to, go for fun, raise fun. So that's one aspect of it. Yes, if the major crisis happens, definitely you have to hunt for your working capital and other thing. Fishing is something where I'm saying that, you can get your target. So with these small controls and the processes that you bring in your organization. The example that I gave is a key area is that how do you manage your outstanding management? Then how well you are on top of your cash flow management, and definitely, like, in fact, Mr. Somnath also had mentioned about the various points that how do you maintain your lean inventory management, because that's one area where your working capital is going to get blocked, and the major part of your current asset, if you see, is going to be your inventory, and then it's going to be your outstanding or your sundry debtors. So I just want to draw a analogy saying that, okay, yes, definitely we need to run. So you have a lot of things that you can control in your organization, which basically is what I drew an analogy to fishing part of it. There are opportunities for you. Just wait patiently, and then like, see that how soon you can get the target to you. It could be your customer, and apply this principle of hunting and target in any area, and then try to differentiate and see. One thing is, basically, again, not on the negative side, hunting is something where it's really a good sport, but then I'm saying hunting is something where you become a desperate, right? So it's like responding and reacting. I mean, I think that should uh, probably help you a bit, sir. You're on mute, Mr. Dojo.
Uh, so I think Mr. Pradeep, your question is possibly the best way possible answered by Mr. Pugal. So if you have any further questions, you can reach out to him directly offline. So probably he'll help you in getting your answer sorted better. So let me get into the next question. So this is by Ms. Poonam. She is from the three SPJS services. My question is with Chatterjee, sir. How safe, committed are bank, our government, or private banks and NBFCs investments, as we have seen three big issues: DHFL, PMC, and S Bank? So this question is for Mr. Chatterjee.
No, Poonam, thank you for the question. But I tell you, let me tell you, I have, and I think all of us have a very high regard with on Reserve Bank of India. They are really, we have a strong regulator in RBI. Also, there's a support from the Finance Ministry. See, whatever happened, I will not take the names of the names you mentioned. There had been fraud. These are individual, group-related connivance people do. So they are people, individual people do it. But please understand, the RBI came back in the right time. If you look at the Yes Bank instance, whatever happened, but Reserve Bank of India came and such a nice way SBI restructured the entire thing, and they have raised 15,000 crore of rupees just last week on a follow-up offer. So how the regulator really managed. So while we have seen some of the problem, but believe you me, we have very strong regulator. There are too many checks and balances are there. I have been on the banking side. I've seen how the audits happen, but yes, there aberration cases are there. And also, if you look at in the last 5-7 years, the cases have gone down a lot. Reserve Bank has become increasingly, or Reserve Bank have become more, regulated. So it has gone down. So NPAs, whatever NPAs, there are a lot of legacy issues which has been cleared. It's been really cleared, and probably we will see some more pain now. But ultimately, I think it is very safe. Not a problem to invest in any of the private or government bank, and we have a very strong financial regulatory system in India. That's why India gets so much of investment from abroad. That's the reason, because entire world, they have faith in our system. Thank you.
Thank you, Somnath, for that answering that question. I would like to next ask this question to Mr. Mukesh. This is from Mr. Amit Agarwal. He's the MD of Digital Surveillance Incorporated. Most businesses are working on bank limits and loans. Until we pay back the entire loan, the bank will not allow to make an investment. What do you suggest in such a case? Your mic is on mute. Mukesh, your mic.
Amit ji, good evening. And just to answer to this, banks will not stop from making you or doing the investments. But yes, bank will only question in case if you are not repaying the EMIs or the interest and then doing the investments. So then probably bank will definitely question on the integrity of the business owner and the purpose for which the loans were taken. So that is one. Second, businesses who have taken working capital loans or they have a CC limit available with them. We don't encourage people to use these CC loans or overdraft loans and do investments. That's not advisable for businessman, and that's not good for business health as well. A lot of people believed in speculation, and they thought by taking CC limit, OD limits, we would invest in high risk, high return stocks, and we will multiply 3-4 times our investments and repay back their CC and the OD limits. But that's not advisable. And that's the reason why on every CC and OD limits, banks have these checkpoints as to where these funds are being invested. But these investments are to be done from the cash reserves and the profits that business is generating.
Thank you, Mukesh. I think that's quite clear. So, thank you. So, the next question is from Mr. Sukhveer Singh, is the director of Himalaya Green Infra Tech Private Limited. He is searching for, I'm searching for an investment in a roadwork project awarded by BRIDCUL in Uttarakhand. So, he is looking for an investment. So, probably if someone can answer that, Mukesh, will you be in a position to give him an answer for that? He's searching for investment for the roadwork project.
Yes.
Awarded by the BRID.
Okay, so need to understand for businessmen, they need to understand if I am looking for an invest, why would someone come and invest in that project? So I would suggest if he can write back to us with their synopsis and the strength of the proposal and project, we can definitely help him find the investor for that project.
Thank you for that. So again, this is to Mr. Pugal. This is from Mr. Amit Agarwal, he is the MD of Digital Surveillance. He is requesting or suggesting Mr. Pugal that Tally should come up with a small course or a workshop for MSME owners for teaching them a few tricks and basics to be in control of their accounts. This will help us to control accounting, people and consultants. Do you have any plans or do you have any such program for helping
Yes.
the accounting department of the MSMEs?
Yes. Yes,
Okay.
yes. One is that, yes, Tally, sir, if you see, we have our own YouTube channel where there are a lot of videos have been uploaded on various features of Tally. That's one aspect of it, which is like kind of a self-learning. Then we have another division in Tally, which is Tally Education Private Limited, where, we conduct, there are authorized training centers where, you can get into any of the course, basically a modular course or a complete course of Tally is one aspect of it. The other one, again, we regularly keep conducting webinars. If you are a Tally licensed Tally user, probably you will get a mail. Nevertheless, you can definitely get in touch with me. I mean, like I conduct a lot of sessions basically for the working class people and for the entrepreneurs So probably we will see how. So these are the areas where it is available. A lot of information is available on our website and YouTube. You just see whether those learning materials are useful to you. Nevertheless, you can always get in touch with me, sir. We will see how we can make MSMEs to be on top of their critical aspects of business. Definitely, we can help.
Thank you, Mr. Pagal. We'll take one last question and probably then we'll come back to a quick round later to all of them. He's the General Manager of Sprec India. What are the measures that you advise to take if any customer do not pay the balance amount? It's open to anyone. I mean, if a customer is not paying, how do they get the balance amount?
Okay, I would take that question. Akash ji, and for all the other participants, government, MSME enterprise. In fact, we will have Mr. Gopinath also joining us soon. He will be in a better position to give more details onto it. But MSME and Industries Commissionerate, they have a different portal called Samadhan. Which is a campaign run by Government of India for micro and small enterprises. Wherein if the customer, whether they are large or any customers from PSU or even from government or central PSU banks, and if they are not, or the organizations who are not paying against the invoice, the queries can be raised on Samadhan portal live, and government MSME department would take up that query and will try to resolve and make sure the payments are being released to the MSMEs and micro and small entrepreneurs. Also, there's a heavy penalty by Government of India, by this department, Industries and MSME department, which is being levied to such kind of clients who don't pay back, who don't pay MSMEs and micro and small entrepreneurs on time. So that Dojo ji, I can again ask Akash to come back to us and write us more in details. We will take up this matter with the concerned state government, MSME department, and can help them out.
So that's quite nice of you. I mean that would be a great help because a lot of MSMEs have the same issues. They do the job finally, probably they're not getting paid on time. So there are many reasons. Maybe it's COVID reason or could be beyond certain issues, or maybe most of the finance are working from their home. So we faced a similar issue with one of the big brands, but then they took quite a few months time, and then so they said the entire team is sitting in Mumbai and they're working from home, and they had a VPN issue to transfer the payment. So when it is getting piled up with many suppliers, so it gets slowly delayed. The kind of security that normally that network they don't have at home, so they need to be very careful, and could be some reason. But if it is anything else apart from that, probably yes, and they don't know how to go about solving this and where to raise this concern. So it'll be a great thing that if you can help Mr. Akash. So Mr. Gopinath is not able to join us because he's got a technical issue from his system. He was doing from a mobile, so he said definitely for the next MSME session he'll prepare in advance and join. But he wanted to talk about TREDS platform. TREDS, TREDS platform. He's asking why MSMEs are not utilizing that platform. So probably he wanted to throw more light on that, and it would have been a great opportunity if he was here. But anyway, so that's going for our next session on the MSME finance. So with us, I think we will end our today's session. But as usual, before ending, we always take an advice from each and every one of you to those who are attending today. So starting with Mr. Pugal, I think you'll go. So what advice would you give to MSMEs in terms of managing the finance and putting a right investment in the right place, the right time? How do they manage? What kind of advice would you like to give?
Yeah. Yes, definitely that basically first is explore all possibilities to see how you can cut costs so that I mean like the savings could give you that kind of a revenue. And most important thing is definitely today majority of you will be using some kind of a technology. So see that how you can leverage this technology. You might be using a full-fledged ERP or an accounting software. If some of you are not leveraging on these areas, this is very very critical. So what is very important is this. Important is that for you to manage finance, definitely you have to be digitized, you have to understand the technology, and you have to have that mindset to learn, implement, and see how you are able to manage your finances.
Thank you, Mr. Bhugal. So, Mr. Mukesh, if you could give your advice.
Yeah, so one piece of advice that I always have been telling to all my MSME clients, it's the time to transform ourselves. I was just sharing this data with Mr. Pugal also, and I'll share this data with you also. MSME contributes to 32% of the India's GDP. We are 6.33 crores plus MSME, but we are still considered as unorganized. That's something which is not, we cannot take that. We are the ones who have the highest, and we do have highest export. So it's time where we get into from unorganized to organized, and we become more transformation, and we become more disciplined and systematic. So just focus on the opportunities. There has been immense opportunities across the world that is currently available. Just look around the opportunities, just transform and go ahead. Atmanirbhar Bharat, it's one of the campaign that government of Gujarat, government of India has said, we can shortly become self-reliant and self-dependent.
Brilliant. Thank you very much for that valuable advice. Mr. Somnath, what would you?
See, I will be summing it up is that first thing is that please focus on your core business. Because as I said, this time that basically noise and these are disturbance, which we call in economics. But if a business main model is controlled, people will look at it. The bankers and the financier and the investor will ignore the business for this period, but they will look at it whether your core model will still stand tall or not. Number one. Number two, please don't default on any banks or financial payments. Ensure that you are able to pay. If you are not able to pay, please renegotiate with your bank. But a default will hit you very badly in the future. Thirdly, keep your key people with you. These are testing times and these are very temporary times. But once the time changes, the people will be your key asset. So please invest in your people. Do deferment of bonus incentives, but keep them. Lastly, I would like to say, as Mr. Mukesh said, yes, India. I'm telling you, after a year, when things go normal, India will be one of the fastest growing economy with Atmanirbhar Bharat, with many other things. There'll be immense opportunity for all of us to grow and make wealth. But these times you have to just hold on. That's it. Thank you, Dojo.
Thank you, Mr. Somnath. That is, in fact, indeed a very valuable advice. So, thank you all. Just a last one question. I thought we should definitely answer him if possible before leaving the whole session. I think either Mr. Mukesh or Somnath. I think it's about banking. It's about. So this is from Mr. Narendra. He is an owner of Nishanti Enterprise. We are the exporter, and in this COVID period, we are facing issue of getting loan against LC. So, will you suggest which financial institute we should reach out for support?
No, I'll just take a minute and then probably Mr. Mukesh can look at it. This is a trade. So basically what he's saying that he wants to, against his LC, he'll take loan. Had he been in front, I could have asked him that is he doing it, because I have worked in depth on the trade finance side of it. So if he has already shipped the materials, I think, and he has a first class LC, he can discount his bills under the LC with any of the banks that he can do. If he's saying that it's only purely against LC, he wants a working capital, and we don't know whether it could be a basically packing credit loan. That is also available. So we don't know what exact product he's saying, but you can actually approach the bankers. You can go to PSU bankers or private bank or your existing bank. they will definitely look at a structure on this, because you have a confirmed LC with you. You have a collateral. So it's not a unsecured product. A bank can structure it around. There are some of the banks who are very trade heavy bank, who are expert on trade. They will probably be able to structure it more. Happy to answer you. If you can offline, you can mail me what is the requirement. I can help you. Thank you. Mukesh ji, if you have any other
If the
suggestions.
banks, if there is not a bank's financial, what would be the option?
See, LC is a trade finance product. So typically, it travels through the bank's platform. So NBFCs, the LC can be discounted, or money can come through authorized dealers who are called ADs. That only can banks do. NBFC or the financial institution, for them a letter of credit is of no use. For a bank, a letter of credit is a collateral. Because it is the bank who is issuing the LC. The bank says, if the documents are produced on this day, whatever document mentioned in the letter of credit, I will honor the payment, and they will honor the payment to another bank, to no other NBFC or anybody. So you have to necessarily, if you have LC, you have to go to a bank only.
Yeah.
Mukesh ji, you want to add anything? You can.
No, I think, Dojo, you can ask Mr. Narendra Sakare to write an email separately to Somnath. I think he'll be in a better position since he's an ex-banker. He'll be able to take this up. I don't see any reason why there should be an issue unless there is something technically that he might have not yet mentioned here. But when we discuss offline with him, we can definitely. And Somnath can definitely help him out on this issue. That's not something very big. I don't see that as a big challenge unless there is some technical problems.
Brilliant. So I think with this we will end today's session, and thank you very much all the speakers. Mr. Mukesh Jagwani, thank you very much for joining us. Actually, we had a joint partnership with CI MSME in the last the 27th. Yeah, the 27th June, which was the International MSME Day. So now this is your second. So thank you very much for our continuous partnership. Mr. Pugal, Tally is always a part of our events across webinar and all of webinars and events. So thank you very much for joining us today. And Somnathji, you are in Kolkata. I know you were in Mumbai. He went to Kolkata. He got stuck there and enjoying the food and what we normally miss in Mumbai. So probably, thank you very much for joining us, and all of you. And I think we all enjoyed today the sessions. It was very, very informative. We will have such finance related issues every week. So the next week is going to have a different topic. We are going to come up with that. But again, actually, all of you are on our experts panel. I mean, the Meet Guru, the Ask Guru panel. Somnath is also going to join us because it was a bit delayed when he started putting all the things. So we have to onboard another 6 more members. So we are 20. So soon it's going to be 26. So thank you all, and thank you for your continuous support. And on behalf of the entire attendees and also on behalf of SY Media, thank you very much. So thank you all. Thank you the partners, the Wadhwani Foundation, Trade India and Tradella, our Dainik Bhaskar, our media partner, and definitely Tally, our ERP partner. Thank you all on all the ecosystem partners. Thank you once again. So we'll meet you all next week.